We begin with the team with the best record in the game, the Golden State Warriors. Well, the Dubs, off to their best start in franchise history through 29 games, 24-5, 11-1 at Oracle, and authors of a 16-game win streak along the way. And the man who is pushing the buttons joins us now from the Warrior practice facility, the head coach of Golden State, Steve Kerr, a friend of Turner Sports and all of us. Hey, Steve, congratulations on this great start. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me today.
Well, with all this winning, isn't it crazy that you guys have a whole half-game lead in the Western Conference? So I guess it's dangerous, I would think, to get caught up in the bigger picture, sort of keep a finer point out there.
Yeah, the West is brutal. I mean, everybody is good. You go on a winning streak, you think you're going to make up some ground, and you're exactly where you were the week before, because 3 other teams have also gone on a winning streak. So you don't really worry about it. You can't. You just have to do the best you can and worry about your own team and try to get better. And at the end of the season, I'm not sure any of the seedings are going to matter in the West anyway.
Steve, you mentioned worrying about your own team. How concerned are you early on about Andrew Bogut, his health, and just how that's going to affect your front court rotation through the course of the regular season?
Well, Andrew's a huge part of our team. He's such a good rim protector. The strength of our team really is our defense. We've got really good versatility, on the perimeter, and then Bogues protects the rim for us. And then on offense, we run a lot of stuff through him. He's an excellent passer and can score down on the block. He really sets up his teammates well. But he'll be back soon. It's not a structural issue. It's something that's getting better. He was on the treadmill today. And I would anticipate that he'll be back before too long, and we look forward to his return.
Hey, Steve, along those lines, I look at Steph Curry. He's had a great season, obviously an all-star MVP candidate. Just noticed a little fluctuation of late on the threes. He's shooting, I think, 8 of his last 24 over the last 4 games. And I'm wondering if that's just a small market blip, or if you think that maybe he's missing Bogut too, and there may be a concern going forward.
Well, I think we got into a bad rut in L.A. against the Lakers and Clippers where we forgot to move the ball and move our bodies, and we were standing around. And anytime we're not in a good groove, it's going to affect everybody's shooting. But the thing with Steph that I've learned pretty quickly is he might go 1 for 8 one game and then 8 for 8 the next. It never affects his confidence. I never worry about Steph's shooting. He's always going to bounce back quickly from a bad game or two. And more than anything, I'm concerned with our offensive rhythm. Are we moving the ball? Are we getting flow? Are we creating pace? We did that pretty well the other night against Minnesota, coming off those 2 LA losses. So hopefully we'll keep that going.
Steve, after the Saturday win over Minnesota, I thought you had a really interesting quote. You said, "I just think our team has a tendency at times to want to put on a show instead of just making the right plays. What they need to understand is making the right play will provide the show." What's the message you're sending to the team there?
The message is really that, consistent play is going to help us win when it really counts against the best teams and in the playoffs. And I just think we have a tendency to take 5 or 6 possessions off a game where we just make careless passes. And look, our offensive numbers are really good. We obviously have a lot of skill and depth on this team. And I think sometimes we rely on that too heavily. And we just need to understand that, come playoff time, everybody's going to be skilled and talented and good. And those games are usually decided by 3 or 4 possessions. And so I'm trying to get our guys to understand we have to eliminate the carelessness and just be more consistent. And that'll give us a better chance to win.
Steve, I think some of these hot starts around the league, certainly in the West, has scared people into, pushing the trade deadline, moving up a couple of months. Do you look around and see what goes on in Houston and Dallas and these other places and have to be conscious of what your team is doing, how you develop them, and what tweaks need to be made going forward with the playoffs in mind?
Well, Houston just made a couple of big moves. Everyone's always looking to get better before the trade deadline. If you have something, an area you'd like to address, then you've got to do it. But that's just the way the league is. You have to assess your own team and I don't anticipate us doing a whole lot. We're doing well. We like our team. We've got good versatility and depth, but we'll see how everything pans out here the next month or so.
Steve, I know your whole focus has to be on your team, and rightly so, and a great start. But I must tell you, as someone who's on the TNT crew quite a bit, I'm very concerned about Marv, and I think your absence is clearly affecting him. And I wanted you to know that, and I was hoping you could give us some solutions, because all of us, it's all we talk about now in the pre-show meetings is how can we make Marv better.
I agree. I agree. I think he's in a position now where he has to, carry a little more of the load. I shouldered a major part of the burden for Marv, and now all of a sudden, he's got to adapt and adjust. But on the bright side, I have much less stress in my life now that I'm a head coach in the NBA instead of working with Marv Albert.
Well, speaking of stress, Steve, I've always found you as kind of a mild-mannered, very pleasant chap. And already this season, you've picked up 5 technical fouls. So what has this head coaching brought out in you in terms of that kind of emotion?
Yeah, you know what? Part of it is just I probably have to learn how to control my temper a little bit. I'm trying to develop a relationship with the referees, and maybe I've said some things that were inappropriate at times, but it's hard. You get this job and you see bad calls, that hurt you. As a TNT announcer, you see bad calls, and it's like, who cares? I'm going to go get room service after the game and watch SportsCenter or whatever, and nothing matters. But now it affects your whole team. So I've got to learn to adapt a little bit. These guys, these refs work hard. They all do a good job. There's always going to be bad calls because that's the nature of the game. It's an impossible game to officiate. I got to do a better job of controlling my temper.
All right. Very diplomatic, Steve, at the end. It's been so much fun to watch you and this team play, and we'll see you Tuesday as you host the Sixers. Thanks for the time, Steve, always.
All right. Thanks for having me, guys.